Hi, I'm so glad you stopped by differentdream.com today. My name is Jolene Philo, and I am the author of A Different Dream for My Child, Meditations for Parents of Children Who Are Critically or Chronically Ill. And you have stopped by on a day when I'm going to be reading aloud to you. Today's post is part of our vlog series where I'm reading some of the different devotionals from the book A Different Dream for My Child. Today's story again comes from the diagnosis section of the book, and it shares the advice of a young woman named Jenny. Jenny and my son are the same age, and when we lived in the wilds of South Dakota, Jenny's mom, Barb, was my backup babysitter. So sometimes Alan would go over and he and Jenny would play during the day. And one day when I came to pick up Alan, Barb was laughing because she said they decided to take chairs into the bedroom and they pointed them at the blank wall in the bedroom, and then they came out and got an empty bowl and went in, sat in their chairs, stared at the wall, and pretended they were watching a drive-in movie. They were both about 3 at the time. So if that gives you any idea of what those two kids were like and the imaginations they had, you know then that we had some pretty good times with these two little kids. Well, we moved from Camp Crook when Alan was about 3, right when he turned 3. Barb and Jenny and their family moved about 6 months later, and about a year after that, when Jenny was 4, almost 5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And she did very well. She survived, obviously. She's now living in South Dakota, and she is married. And when I was writing this book, I interviewed her because I wanted to get a perspective from someone who was now an adult who had lived as a child with special needs. So today she's going to give you some advice about why it is important to get a second opinion. And that is the title of this devotional. It's called Second Opinions, and it begins with Proverbs 15:22 from the Message Bible. Refuse good advice and watch your plans fail. Take good counsel and watch them succeed. Right now, if you've had some time to adjust to your child's diagnosis, you're ready to sort through the avalanche of medical information you've been given. As you move beyond reactionary shock to reasonable thought, you'll start asking questions about prognosis and treatment options and doctor qualifications. And you may wonder if asking for a second opinion is something you should do. Jenny, a young woman of 26 and a survivor of acute lymphocytic leukemia, ALL, has this to say about the issue. My advice is to be sure to get second opinions. Go to a medical center that is updated and has advanced technology. A second opinion confirms the diagnosis and allows you to move forward instead of not knowing or second-guessing things. Jenny has good reason to say this. Her ALL diagnosis came when she was 4 years old. When tests showed she had a highly treatable form of leukemia, her mom and dad, living in a small North Dakota community, took Jenny to a university hospital in another state for a second opinion. The doctor at the university hospital, who was very experienced and had compiled a high patient survival rate, was impressed with the referring doctor's astute and speedy diagnosis. Knowing Jenny had been in good hands since the very beginning made it easier for her parents to move forward and make decisions. Asking for a second opinion doesn't indicate a lack of faith in God's provision for your child. Instead, it shows a willingness to follow His advice, to seek counsel of wise people, and to make use of the resources He provides. Your doctor should encourage you to get a second opinion. One pediatrician says, "I think the family, especially a young parent, should feel comfortable asking questions of their provider. You need to feel comfortable with your second opinion, and if you don't, you should feel comfortable seeking another." But, she adds a caution, if you ask those questions again and you get a similar answer or a similar diagnosis, at some point you have to feel as a parent that you've asked all the questions, and then you have to settle. If you want a second opinion, get one. If the opinions agree, move forward. If they don't, get another one and continue until you believe you have explored every reasonable possibility for your child and found the best possible treatment. If your doctor makes you feel uncomfortable when you ask questions, ask anyway. Be insistent for your child's sake. But realize that at some point, once you've gathered all the opinions and are sure of the diagnosis, you must make a decision on behalf of your child. Remember, the purpose of obtaining a second opinion is to allow you to move forward with confidence rather than wallow in indecision. Make your decision based on the opinions you've gathered, and then rest in the assurance that you have been the best possible advocate for your child. Know that God has heard your prayers for wisdom and a clear head. Move forward, confident that He knows how much you love your child and is pleased with what you have done on your little one's behalf. Let's pray. Dear Father, the medical experts and their information are intimidating. I have to make decisions about things I didn't even know existed until recently. Lead me to people and resources I need to be a wise advocate for my precious child. Here are a few questions you might want to reflect upon as we end this session. Where can you go to learn more about your child's diagnosis and treatment? What kind of information will assist you in your decision making? And what questions should you ask your doctor when you see him next? Now, if this devotional made you think about a time when you got a second opinion for a child or about the process you used to do that, I invite you to leave a comment at the bottom of this page on the website. Just share your story if you'd like, or leave a comment about something else. I'd love to hear from you, and I promise that I will answer. Maybe not right away, but within a day or two I'll try to answer. That said, this is Friday at my house and maybe Friday at your house, and I want to wish you a great weekend, and I hope to see you back next week for another installment in this vlog series.